without physical contact from a male. All of a sudden, God shatters this thought process and overcomes or covers over Mary to impregnate her without the aid of man. That's a miracle. But is anything too hard for God? Is anything too impossible for God? In the same discourse, we also find out that Elizabeth is now pregnant, and she was beyond years. But we know that's not the first time that God has done that. But this is the first time that a virgin has become pregnant without intimacy. So if God can do that, how come he can't handle our situations? How come he can't handle our stuff? How many of you think you're going to live forever? How many think y'all got this thing called life figured out? How many of you got aches and pains right now? And guess what? They ain't going nowhere. The doctor gives you medicine, and it don't work. So then he gives you another prescription, and it don't work. So he gives you another prescription, and it don't work. That's why they call practicing physicians. And we the ones they practicing on. Trial and error. You can't get to the big surgery until you go through all the little stuff, but the reality is they still have no power nor authority unless God gives it to them. And yet we struggle with our everyday lives. We struggle with our relationships. We struggle in our marriages. We struggle in our workplaces. We struggle in our daily routines of life. And life just gets us down. But yet, he can take a virgin girl and impregnate her with the power of the Holy Spirit. No man has laid with her. That's kind of hard to believe, right? That's impossible. But yet, that's what we believe. So if he can do that, why can't he meet us where we are? Why do we struggle to follow him? Why do we question God as if God don't know? Anything that's going on in your life, anything that has happened to you, do you think God don't know? Do you think he's unaware? Do you think he has no part in it? Because one of the reasons why we don't go to him, he ain't got time for that. He don't have time for this. He don't have time for my little problems or my insignificant things. Who says they're insignificant? Only going to take the big stuff to God. But God is in the details. Read the word. He cares about your small and your large. You're important and you're unimportant. Why? Because he's our Father. What kind of father would he be if he didn't care if you fell and scraped your knee? Only cares when you got a diagnosis of cancer. Okay, now God cares. No, he's cared from the beginning and the foundation of this world. Why? Because he can do anything. There's nothing too hard for God. You can go through Genesis to Revelations, and it will show you time and time again that there is nothing impossible for God. Except in this dispensation, we don't